Hello.
Hello.
Up, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Guys.
Gonna dance.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like I've
I
been following. Sorry. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead, Keon.
No, I just said I am too. I was just responding to you.
Yeah, I go freezing again.
Oh no, the host is freezing. That's always a great start.
That's crazy. Okay, no, we should be fine. Every time I get excited, I feel like it wants to fucking see. Look at that. Get all extra movie and it wants to stop.
I'm getting
Sorry,
excited.
I gotta pour some baby oil
All
on me
right,
real quick.
fine.
Just hold
Listen up.
That's
Hands
crazy.
up when you stood up.
on. Ah,
Just know.
all right. Got my baby oil. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, love.
All right. Well, we're here to discuss.
Discuss.
Well, yeah, we have a
Get it
little
loudly.
discussion. So we know it was the Diddy trial. We here. You got the prison background ready and prepped. All right, because you know that's where he's going. He's done. He's
Wait.
gone.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Don't be a supporter.
Innocent until
No,
proven guilty.
Lock
don't
that
be a
big
supporter.
up.
Look, we already know what it is. All right.
Look, it's
And
crazy because there's things we're gonna talk about that are serious, of course, but it's like
mhm.
how can you not? I mean, some things you're gonna laugh at, you're gonna make fun at. We get it's a serious situation. Some shit that we're gonna talk about is not a laughing matter. But then there's some stuff. It's like you can't make this stuff up. It's like straight out of a. You couldn't write it if you wanted to, right?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, specifically today. What were the areas we were going over today?
The rise.
The low freeze again.
Low key, it's annoying me right now. But whatever. But we went what? We're going over the rise, the
Wait
rumors,
a
and the
minute.
reckoning.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Right?
What happened? Because when you first started, you like never. Did you change your setup or something? Because this
I
has never been
assure
with
you,
you.
I assure you, no. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm trying to be as chill as possible. There it is.
So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do.
what I what I can't do, I'm gonna reset my computer because when we
Oh,
were in here and just chilling, it wasn't moving, it wasn't skipping.
this is
It
what we're
wasn't
gonna do.
until you started the
We're
live.
gonna slide
So
you out the way, right?
yeah,
You
do
go.
that very quick. I'm gonna restart.
All right, you go ahead and restart. We're just gonna slide him out the way, right? So today, part one: rise, rumors, and reckoning. Now we were supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, before the trial started. So of course, everybody knows the trial's already started, and has been carrying on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And before we get into specific things, what so far has been the most shocking thing that you've heard out of the trial and the days that have been going by? Who wants to go first? Mike. I'll let Mike. Mike has been watching it like a hawk. Go ahead, Mike.
It's not really like a halt, but one of the most things that I could say from me, my perspective is like he was this big mongrel, like from the night he came out with 93 and stuff, and he was this big person. He put on um Mary J. Blige, he put on oh, who's that? A Biggie. And for to find out that way back when his ego and his power from his white parties up until his yachts and everything like that is where it started with his but the biggest thing that I could say that I really am shocked about is you never know people behind closed doors, but for them to be getting treated like they was getting treated, of course it's he say she say, but with all what we've seen so far, it's more like a he say she say, yeah, he did it say. Um,
Wait,
but
he say, she say? Because for me, it's been he say, everybody else say.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
what it's been.
you
Uh,
know,
and that's for the people out there still trying to find. It's always amazing to me when there's there's an overly amount of evidence, the amount of people that will still try to defend that person,
Yeah, and they have a lot of evidence, like
right?
pictures, like tangible stuff. It gets to a point where it's like you can't, with the amount of people who are saying the same things. It's one versus everybody else, and there's physical and like photographic evidence against you, and it's so many people. No one's covering your ass except your kids, which is crazy.
I think it's more so like he's not people's not separating him, his personal life and his business. That they're not separating those two. They're just living. They just because he had a great legacy, so that's what they're focusing on. That's why
Well,
they're not.
there's a bunch of things they're not separating. And I'm going to Sydney. It's not just, and Mike, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's just a small part of people. There are people who are not separating because it's a woman, and they're saying, well, she wanted it, and this is it. She was complicit, and all of that. And you have that going on. But here's the thing that I always say for defenders: it's a federal case, and we all know the federal conviction rate is 95%. Why the hell is it 95%? Because we all know the feds don't go after you until they have an over amount of evidence. I said that wrong, but I just want to move on. Have so much evidence that they know they're going to get a conviction rate. That's why it's 95 freaking percent. So when the feds come, I mean, look at everybody who's had federal indictments. Martha Stewart, for crying out loud. You know, when you come from Martha Stewart, you got the goods. All right. So that's the problem that I have is when it becomes federal, it's like, ooh, they got the goods because they don't just go to court just to go to court. Sydney?
Yeah. So I find everything really shocking, of course, especially the stories you hear. But some of the things, I guess one thing that's not what everybody's, I don't want to say the same thing, but one shocking thing is if you go back and look at older videos or like even interviews that people have done and all the celebrities that are involved in this too. What shocks me is how we didn't think that was totally disgusting on some of the things they said to even minors at the time, or like those interviews. If you go back and look at past interviews, like went over our heads at that time. And now
the Ellen interview.
Yeah. And now that we are where we are, it's like you look back at those and you're like, how the frick did we not see that this was so cringy and wrong?
I think it was just a lot of the things that were happening were like on TV, so they're giving you shock value, and so you start wanting more. You get desensitized to like what he's blatantly putting in your face.
They blatantly put
and you're just like, well, this is what you got to do to get into the music industry, right? So you kind of just fold because there's no rules, really.
And on that Ellen interview,
public, like when we would see things and we wouldn't see that kind of red flag until now.
Well, it's you didn't see it, but just like with R. Kelly, what happens is rumors start to come out from people who do leak rumors, and you just dispel it. That's it gets thrown away and taken care of. But one thing you were talking about when you go back and look at interviews, and you can now see the uncomfortableness, and the one that reminds me the most is the Justin Bieber one. This one here, when you watch it. Hold on, I almost ended the broadcast. Hold on.
Hate this one because this is after
selling out arenas and everything. Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
How uncomfortable. Now it's like I look back and he's like, you don't hang out with me anymore. It's like, yeah, you
he's like, because you've been touching me.
Also, you're a grown ass man and I'm a child. Why would we hang out?
I don't even think that was the issue. That happens. That happens. I saw what happens. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm a kid, like you said.
His body language, he was so uncomfortable. He was like,
I'm pretty sure he experienced what happened, not just saw.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I don't know. I mean, and you can be traumatized just by looking at something, I don't want nothing to do with that, and I'm out of here. You may be right, Sydney. I just don't know it for a fact, but I know either way, if you're that young, it's going to be Hell, it's traumatizing for adults. If you're that young, you're going to be traumatized, whether you experienced it physically or just had to look at it.
Say none of that happened. Say none of it happened. It's still weird for him to be like, why don't we hang out? You know what I mean? If you take away all the other stuff, it's still like that's the stuff that.
Well, it's weird in a normal person context. I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to hang. I'm not going to hang out with a 15-year-old, but when you're actor in the industry, it's kind of different.
If
It,
they're
I mean,
doing recording, yeah, but like he was saying it casual, like they're gonna hang out.
yeah,
Go
that's
play
not
video
weird.
games.
That's
Go
not
race.
weird to the industry.
I
People.
have grown friends for that. I don't need a child to hang out
Yeah,
with play
no,
video
I agree with you. I'm just saying it's not as weird in that line of work than it is.
In the
Yeah,
entertainment
that's
industry is
true. Yeah, that's what I
y'all
mean.
do
If he was
whatever,
more
y'all
like
just be kicking it.
if he was more like an actual innocent like mentor, like helping him in
Yeah.
that step since he was already there, that's not like. But
People find it weird, and
we've been
remember, me and
cool.
Natalie did it on the show one time. Natalie hates when I tell this story. She was hanging out with her roommates. Natalie, how old are you?
I'm about to be 21, but I'm 20 right.
Okay. Well, you were 20 at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 20. She's hanging out with all her 20-year-old roommates. There's like six of them all in the room. I call her. We're on the phone for like an hour and 40 minutes. I go, wait, Natalie, you've been on the phone for an hour and 40 minutes. You better get back with your friends. They're going to find it weird that you're on the phone with a 46-year-old for an hour and 45 minutes. She's like, no, it's not. It's you. I said, put me on speakerphone. I go, Natalie's friends, do you find it weird that she's been on the phone for an hour and 45 minutes with a 46-year-old guy? They all yelled at the same time. Yes.
But they know who you are though. Like that's chill.
She's also 20.
Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't matter. Any sect of life, somebody's going to find something weird. Not dispelling what you said, Sydney, but somebody's going to find something weird. But now you go back and see some of the interviews and you just see the uncomfortableness. Uh, what was the most shocking thing to you, Lo, so far?
The most shocking thing to me, I think like whatever. I might have to just talk with my camera off at this point, but the most shocking thing to me, um, I think actually just that this in its entirety has
Uh-huh.
happened. Me being like a musician, and I'm sure others are like, you grow up, you watch Making the Band, you're like, oh, this, he's teaching you like gems as well as he's going on, but like when you realize the stuff going on in the back scene, as of everybody who just idolizes him the way they have, this in its entirety is just shocking. The amount of like abuse that Cassie had to go through, like, because you'd be wondering, like, homegirl was on for a bit, then where did she go? She was in the background getting beat. You're just like,
Yeah, it's very sad.
You know, well, the one thing that he showed, anytime somebody tried to say something back in the day, you always get called a hater. You're a hater. Anytime you try.
either you're a hater or you're crazy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of it because I'm never, and I don't want to sound like a male bashing male, but I'm never surprised when men in power act like men in power. I'm never surprised when women in power act like women in power. It doesn't surprise me anymore. What can surprise me is sometimes the depths of stuff, but it doesn't really shock me when I hear it. They're like, "Can you believe?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Yes, I
I'm
can
like, if,
believe."
if if it happened to you, yes, I can believe it.
Go ahead, Mike. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I saw your lip curl.
No,
And
Well,
you
your
always
face,
get lost.
your face is stuck out in the camera.
You
My
always
face
get
is
Can
still
you
in the
guys see
camera.
me?
yeah,
Your
your
face
face
is stuck.
frozen nice.
That's a
Can you
no.
guys see me or hear me on the camera?
Hey,
I mean,
September. Yeah, there you go. Hey, September.
I'm
Hey.
here.
Uh,
Hello, everybody.
what's been the most shocking thing? That's what we've just started answering the question. What's been the most shocking thing that you've heard, whether it's been an allegation or something that's true so far?
So far, the most shocking, which was one that I just got this morning, was apparently Bow Wow's been a victim as well. I don't know if you guys have
Hmm.
heard of that one, but
Yep.
I just read headlines about it this morning about Bow Wow supposedly have been a victim of him and JD. He was like 15 years old, so that one was very shocking to me. And then the most wrenching one was Cassie. Cassie was the most once because she was how long? Just like who's just mentioning she was hot for a minute and then she just fell off, and we're like, where has she been? And
Cassie.
she's been behind the scene going through all of that type stuff for years. Like to have to go through that for years is traumatizing. So that right there has been one of the most traumatizing for me. I even did a segment on it myself once I've got all of the news and everything because it's a lot of women go through stuff like that and they don't really have the platform or like
Support.
they don't get to talk up about it. Like and it's very and it that right there kind of like really hit me in the heart when it
Well,
came to
it's a
her.
couple
She was
things.
young.
Everyday women who go through it don't have the platform, and sometimes women who have the platform, certain things
Mhm.
happen. Like, for instance, when the video was going to be leaked, people point out that Cassie helped suppress the video, but she had something big coming out. And we all know
Yeah,
scandals that happen when major things are happening in your career will set you back. So I can't really fault her for being in line with suppressing certain information coming out,
yeah,
especially
Yeah.
when she now kind of separate when she was kind of separating herself, and then now it's resurfacing. So it's like you can't get away. Whether you're with the issue or outside of the issue is still being brought up. Go ahead, Mike. You
And
were
the
gonna say
way I see it with Cassie, v- I don't pass judgment till I hear all evidence, but the way I see it with her is victims typically hide away and shy away from the main light because they don't want to shed light that they are victims in the process. So
something.
that's
yeah.
how I take it. That's why 10 years of all it is just
They
now
were
coming
drugged
to
too,
light.
though. Like you guys got to think about that too. Like they were drugged, like and giving things to not tell or know that they're even experiencing those type of things, which is crazy. Like it was to the point to where it was like mandatory that you had to take these drugs. Like that's how most of the victims that are coming out
We're saying
got attacked. Like it was they were being drugged.
And it's two factors in that. One, the thing you just said, Mike, that people we always forget, it's even worse for men.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
you
Oh
go to
yeah.
a female executive's house and things happen to you and you get made fun of when you bring it up. So
Yeah.
you just kind of like, who wants to hear me complain that some attractive woman drugged me and took advantage of me? Like, there's a lot
Sad.
of men that don't want to hear you complaining about that,
men
right?
created that, but
That's
not women so much. We
What do
would.
you mean, man? Well, it
mhm.
doesn't matter who created it. It's who's still at fault doing it.
Yeah, I know, but like men have created that life for men to not feel open. Women have not created that, but men have created that for us too.
Well, it's not just women. When I went to a woman when I was the first person I went to was a woman when I was assaulted as a child, and
Yeah.
she pissed me away. You know,
That's crazy.
That is.
'Cause most of the time, we,
well, it's not. Well, here's the thing. We say most of the time because most of the time that this is done, it's people in power. But as the playing
Yeah.
Yeah.
fields get evener, we're noticing that the behavior is not just strictly a male behavior. You
no,
know,
even all the
you have
celebrity females that were a part of all that.
right, whether it's a teacher, a principal, whether it's a mayor, whether it's just power, and it's not. I don't think it's a gender thing.
No, I was saying in terms of men and their feelings, feeling like you don't want to say that. I was saying that that is more male directed at that,
Well, in my
Mm.
experience,
not the actual act
uh,
itself.
oh no, that's what I was saying. So I'm not going to disagree or agree because I don't know statistics. We only know the statistics because more females, even though as many don't, more females report than men. But
Yeah.
I'm going on my own personal experience from two different situations that when you're a guy saying those happen, it doesn't matter if I say it to a male or a woman, it's always treated in the same way. Or, well, what did you do? So now that's when I got
The
the
victim
feeling
blaming.
with
Worry.
a woman when
Mm.
she comes. Because, like, well, what were you doing?
What were you
You know,
wearing?
Yeah.
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 what were you trying to get out of her?
They be quick to victim blame, and that's what they're doing in the trial. Like as they speak, they're like, "Okay, well, you were enjoying it for some time, weren't you?" And like, you can't even say yes, even though like I'm sure at a point you were until it was like, "This is a bit too much." And
That's
you
what
have
I
And
see.
every right to
that's
take
what
that,
happened with
take that
Daughters
step
walked
back.
out.
that's what
I
happened with
see.
Kathy.
I see
And
a lot
Chris
of
was
that.
okay with it.
Go ahead,
I see.
Natalie. We'll go to you, Mike. Go ahead, Natalie.
I see a lot. I've seen a lot of that with Cassie because they're like on social media. Like she was just involved in it as Diddy was. Like she was just as in on it like as Diddy was, and like she's grown. She knew what she was doing. She could have said no. Blah blah blah. Like, but you know, people don't realize like how much like
They don't know
like
Manipulation,
mental, yeah, like
for sure.
mental, just
abuse.
like fucked up stuff goes into that situation. You
I
know.
find it funny that people like to pick and choose when they call a 19-year-old a grown ass person and when they call them, well, you're still a child. Like we pick and choose when we want to tell 18, 19, 20-year-olds when they're an adult and when they're a child. Okay. It's so
Yeah.
silly, you know, to again, Natalie's 20, I'm 46. If these things were happening between me and Natalie, you can't blame Natalie. She's 20 years old. I'm 46. I know how to manipulate a 20-year-old if I wanted to. I just choose to be a
Look,
better human and not do it. You know.
Yeah.
Now the only thing it's not an agreement when you get into victim blaming is when people know things about things that happen at an event and they still choose to go anyway.
yeah,
That's the only time where I have a problem. Not to say, hey, these terrible things happened to you and that shouldn't have, was like, you knew what was happening. You heard the rumors. You had to see it for yourself.
yeah.
It's more like
Some people, some
They
people
probably
like to
won't
learn the
happen to
lesson
me
that
or
way,
my dad.
and maybe because the things that they were hearing sounded a bit too outrageous and outlandish for it to be true. So they're like, "Well, I'm sure that doesn't go down there," and so you go down there and you see what happens, and you're like, "Oh shoot,
Yeah.
y'all weren't lying." Huh?
Yeah, Mike, what were you gonna say, Mike?
I was just exactly what he said, but it's like, what's the point? It comes to the point of what if they go down there and check it out, but then they end up going back. Like, so you
And that
doubling down, you have to make sure.
that's what blows my mind is collectively how many people took part in these and just like nobody said anything. Even the ones who didn't take part again, like how many people stayed quiet and how many people attended that and how many people like just ignored it like it wasn't happening.
Well,
Is
that
Ritualistic
doesn't blow
behavior.
my
I
mind
think
I
I
because
think
think
that part doesn't blow
he.
my mind because of what they went over in court about. Number one, and I'm not saying an NDA holds you like it's an NDA. They have them sign an NDA, which I get.
yeah, but
Getting damning information on you. That's how extortion and blackmail works. They get damning information on you. You know, just like I forgot the one guy that attended the party and then he gets that. It was a ritual. You get the phone call the next day,
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was like a
reminding you of
ritual.
how miserable your life is going to be made, reminding you of what could happen to your family and everybody else.
I get
Yeah.
that the threat.
It
Yeah.
was it was like a ransom, like it was like just like sending a ransom. Like it was a lot of factors that factored in with it. It wasn't that they were like willingly going to do these things. At least I
Not
don't think.
everybody, but a lot of them were.
You know, a lot of them
Yeah.
were. We know in
Well,
the
I
industry.
think the ones that was in charge of it, yeah, of course, like
Well,
yeah, but some of them that was like with
nah.
doing it and told that they're going to do this to their family and all this type of stuff, like it was a lot of things like that was said that a lot of victims didn't want to come forth about. Like look at Justin Bieber, for instance, like that boy is traumatized,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
right.
it's so sad,
Well, you're in
very
the
sad.
industry.
Yeah.
When you're in the industry, you know there's two types of parties. Okay? We already know any party. There's two types. You go to
Mhm.
the party. I think Marlon Wayne said it one time. He goes, I used to go to all the parties that Denzel went to. And when Denzel Washington grabbed his coat, I grabbed my coat too because I know everything that was happened at the party after he left. I don't need to be around.
You know what he had to happen. He's like, he's going.
Yep.
I've been
Right.
to an industry party and I've been to some. I don't need to go to what's that black curtain over there? Oh, that's the other party. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on this side where the lights are on. Over here.
And a lot of things, a lot of the younger celebrities that were victimized, their parents sent them there. Like, and they probably felt like they didn't even have nobody. If your parents gonna send me to a place like this and not even knowing what's going on, just imagine how that child is feeling.
Those that reminds
No, go ahead, Allie.
that reminds me a lot of the R. Kelly stuff. Like I forget where it came out. It was either Netflix or Hulu, but a documentary came out about R. Kelly like maybe a year. I think it was last summer. But I watched. There was like maybe 5 episodes or something. But I remember there was at least 1 or 2 girls in there. Their parents like R. Kelly was like, oh, let her come. Like I don't know if he was staying with them or just. I think they were staying with him, but like he was like, oh, I'm gonna get them in the industry. Like let her stay with us for like a while. And the parents would just send them. And like one of the girls, like, and I think R. Kelly would try to like manipulate the parents. And I guess some of the parents either fell for it or just didn't care. Like, oh my gosh, R. Kelly.
Some of them parents didn't take much to manipulate. They got some belly.
They got
500K something.
They got excited because it's like, oh, R. Kelly's going to turn my daughter into a star. Here you go. Like, threw the daughter over there.
Well,
like,
stuff with Justin Bieber started because allegedly they were talking about his parents giving 48-hour guardianship to Diddy over him.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
That happened to Usher too, because Usher got his parents gave guardianship as well. Cassie's mom did too. Like I believe, because wasn't she like 17? She was like 17 when she first went there.
But I also think they're going to make Diddy the entire fall guy too, and I think Jay-Z and other people need to go straight down with him. But I have a feeling that's another thing. They're going to make him.
It's always going to.
Their time will come.
It's always.
I don't like things that's gonna all come out. Like whoever's involved, like they definitely not getting away scot free with that.
It's always going to be the coordinator, and some people, like if we take like what happened with Bill Cosby and say, well, how did these women keep doing that? At where he was, and all of us here have been in entertainment or was pursuing it at one point. If somebody at the ranks of Bill Cosby says, hey, meet me and we can talk about your career, you take that meeting.
And you're going to go. Like
you're going to take that meeting. You'd be a fool not to take that meeting. And so
money.
The women will say, I hear women say this a lot about the women that deal with R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and Bill Cosby. These women are stupid. They're fools. Why would they do that? And my answer is always, predators will always find prey. They will always find prey. They know who to talk to. There's a reason why there's no story about Bill Cosby hitting on Felicia Rashad, because we got his head tore off. Predators will
You're not
always
touching her. You're not touching her.
And my husband was in the NFL at the time too. Yeah, that's not happening. But predators that's a predator's job to find
you're
prey.
Right there, because had it been me and Diddy walked up to me after I'm watching all these things about how he's making everybody motherfucking star, he says like, "Hey, you trying to come through?" I'm like, "It's Diddy. I'm gonna have to."
Yeah.
I would.
So you
I would have slid through too.
Before all of this, not that you know everything.
I don't think I would go if I knew. If I knew, I wouldn't. No matter how, like I don't think I'll be like, yeah, violent. No, not knowing.
If I knew, no.
Hold on.
A lot of people didn't know.
Hold on, that's not what he's saying. Go ahead, Lo.
Right. I'm saying like after I had watching all like I'm growing up watching Making the Band. You see Biggie, you see Mary J. Blige, you see all these other people he's putting on. You're gonna go. He walked up to you. He's like, "Yo, I think you got a little something."
They all did. That's how they all got there in the beginning. Is because they seen all of those things.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. We can't blame the victim entirely, because had anybody in that position trying to come up and be put on, you're going to go.
Yeah.
And then you learn what's going on. Even after you learn, it's going to be hard for you to step away, because by this point, especially if you're doing music with him,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying then too. Like after, like if I find out and I'm in it, like say for instance, yeah, we see all of that stuff and we going and we in there. Then we start seeing that type of stuff. Like I'm gonna start like, oh no, it's time to exit.
Okay, here's my problem.
Come get me right now.
Here's my problem with hypotheticals. How many people said the exact same thing with the exact same energy? And they still end up there.
And still stayed there.
The reason why I say that, and I'm not doubting you, September, but y'all just tell me if I'm crazy. The reason why we're saying that is because it hasn't happened to us. The reason why we're saying that, I said I would never be assaulted. They got assaulted twice. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it was people that was close to even being assaulted that talked about it too, like Fantasia, Maya, all of them. They everybody, them people that are dead.
I get it. There's people that did, but what I'm saying is, It's always easy to say, even though I'm saying I wouldn't, it's easy for me to say that now. It's different when I check my bank account and there's two commas in it that I've never seen before.
You think so?
Okay.
No, I'm
No,
just being
dead
honest.
ass.
I would morally like to
No,
say,
I think
no,
I ain't.
yeah,
Are
I
you
don't
yeah,
know.
guys speaking as if you know
yeah,
about what he does, or
If
you
you
don't?
know,
no. Well, see, we're not listening. Okay,
okay, all right. Well, all right.
No,
Well, I
I just
definitely
think
will.
that
I'm
because
not.
Samantha was saying if she knew what he
You know
was doing, she would have signed up.
No,
But
what I'm
saying if
saying
he
is,
was young and this was one of those things, he would have followed along with it, which I think
no,
all of us would have if we didn't.
what I'm saying is, information I know now, absolutely not. What I'm saying
Right.
is, if I
That
was out here trying to make it, and Diddy, R. Kelly, whoever, Bill Cosby comes by, and they say, hey, this, that, and the third, and then I go, and then I see what happens, I'm like her, I ain't going back to the party. But for the people saying, why did this person say this? Why did this person continue to work with them even though they didn't go to the parties out of that? And they say, I would have cut this off. I would have done this. I would have done that. Yeah, when you grow up dirt poor and now all of a sudden you see $3 million in your account, it's a lot harder to say what you would have done than when you don't.
yeah.
Morally, I can easily
Especially when you got
say
a family
I
behind
would,
you.
I would have told, I would have done this, I would have done that. I can say that now, but I can't honestly say what my reaction would have been if that would have happened.
Well,
I
that's
think
yeah.
the right thing.
I
That's
ain't
what
gonna,
It's
my
Sue was like.
reaction.
literal hush money. You gonna shut up once you get that money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
that's
this
what
is
Sue was saying.
exactly yeah, this is exactly why you got to make sure that like you can't just go into situations like that like thinking like that. Like if you know you're becoming an actor or a singer or whatever it is that you are going to Diddy or whoever it is for in those type of situations, that money shouldn't be the end all be all. Like nah,
Well,
like
Well,
I'm gonna
so let
take
me
the
ask something.
decent route.
but
So let me
back in
ask
the
something.
day, they went
Okay,
to
look how you get close like that. Okay.
Let me ask something. Let me
I,
ask something.
well, I'm gonna let you. I'm
So
gonna let you add some, but still, I think I'm still not being heard. The money is not a factor.
So
It's not
what's
in
the
my
fact?
thought processes. What I'm saying is, the next day when I check my account and it's there, then it becomes a factor.
yeah.
Going
Yeah,
like
So what?
this. I can't
no,
even
I
get
So
it.
actually agree with that.
I don't
so I want
have.
to.
I don't have, I've never seen, I've never touched, I've never smelled $3 million. So I don't know honestly what my reaction would be. Somebody says, John, hypothetically, for $10 million, yes. And they go, wait, I didn't ask the question yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, all
somebody.
right. I get
So
what you're
so
saying.
so so I want to ask. What I want to ask because I don't know if it's been necessarily talked about, but what do we feel like the early warning signs were that we saw but maybe ignored? And I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say like, Bad Boy was not a label. It was an escape room with recording equipment.
Yeah,
The art, the
that's my
artists
early
kept
sign.
the artists that were in there. They kept disappearing like socks in the dryer.
Mhm.
And that happens, yeah.
It was
When you
it was
use
like
them
a
socks in
witness
the
protection
dryer.
program.
But that's what I
It
was
was a
saying
witness protection
earlier.
program with a soundtrack.
We didn't see it at the time. We saw it later on.
And then
Well,
how do you go through more bodyguards in the White House?
we saw it at the time. We just ignore it. For instance,
That's what I
anytime
said. These are the
someone,
signs we ignored.
anytime someone says someone they were extorted, that's always the red flag. Where you go to go from where he started to where he went, you already know things are being done. We knew extortion. We assumed people were killed and murdered and kidnapped and all those other things. What we didn't know was all the extreme sexual depravities. What we didn't know
We didn't
was
know.
it like people say, well, some of these people are like the male exotic dancer. I know the
Yeah.
one thing males don't like to do is publicly say that they couldn't perform,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
When he
Freezer
told the
meat.
story
Still,
about
you
he
talking
was
about
hired,
the
he was
one
That's
that,
hired.
the
that
man.
she was with, the male exotic dancer that Cassie was with. Is that the one you're talking
No, no,
about?
no, no, no. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about because there's a bunch of exotic dancers on this on these trials.
He's saying in general. He's saying in
I'm
general.
specifically talking about the one that was hired to come on there because P Diddy liked to see things done to her in front of him,
Mhm.
and the one that said he hit her with the frying pan. knocked her to the ground, and he R-worded her because we can't say the word. He R-rated her so bad, and then told him your turn or whatever, and he was so grossed out that he couldn't
Form.
it wouldn't
Yeah.
work. Now,
Yeah.
No,
as a
that's it.
man, he's telling the truth because you ain't
Because like you said,
especially if you're an exotic dancer. That's hurting your brand. Saying that.
that's like your fucking that's your money maker, bitch. I can't perform.
And if
We ain't
people
gonna hire that
like
motherfucker no more.
no one wants to admit to like humiliating things. Like
Right.
you wouldn't admit to stuff like that, or like having stuff done to you, or like any of that if it wasn't true. Like I wouldn't sit here and say like someone like pissed in my mouth. Like you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that unless it really happened. Like, am I about to get a shadow ban? I'm sorry.
No, I never thought I'd hear that phrase come out of your mouth. Wait,
Well,
we
I
got
mean, it's like R. Kelly. It's like R. Kelly point
The
five.
R. Kelly situation.
2.0, like a mouthful of piss. I'm not about to sit here and admit I like that, or not that she liked it. I don't. That came out wrong. I wouldn't sit here and admit that if it didn't happen. Okay.
Nah.
everybody. She's
No.
the baby on the screen. So,
And she know.
one thing that's happening right now that happens on Brilliant Swag all the time, and by the way, the pretty part of the Pretty Smart cast is here. Brilliant Swag will be on their show on Thursday as we're doing this crossover all month. One of the things that, and he already laughing, one of the things that happens on Brilliant Swag is Mike gets lost in the show and then you don't hear from him for 50 minutes. Mike, what's going through that noggin over there?
No, I've just been listening and getting all. Y'all been saying some things that I didn't realize and knew about. So I've been trying to
He's taking it
do my
all in.
own research
He's
off
like,
on the
oh
side.
wow, a little bit,
I've been doing my
huh?
own research on the side so I can, not be uninformed when I speak on things.
Wait, you doing your research now?
I mean, y'all bring up topics like, for instance, y'all said something about
But we've been mostly talking in general right now. We haven't even gotten to the case
What did you come up
specifics.
with, Mike?
Right. I mean, we can get into the case situation, but
We
Yeah.
just
What
you ain't been
talking.
following Diddy? Diddy's
I
crazy.
have been following. It's just y'all said some things that I missed. I haven't
You
been
didn't take into
following it.
consideration.
Hey,
Yeah.
look up
Yeah.
about Diddy's mom.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, Diddy's mom.
Weirdo.
No,
Weird.
I didn't even look that one up. Now look that up for us,
Look,
Mike. What they talking about?
Weirdo.
Weird.
like for instance,
He's
I'll
definitely
touch
his mother's child. Cause
Yep.
I'll touch on one thing, right? Things are so crazy, right? Cassie's fake name in the bedroom was his mom's name.
weirdo.
Oh,
They're
he
all
had a
It
mom.
is
What?
crazy. Like what the
No, I never knew that at all.
which was
She is
Janice.
on.
It was Janice.
There's
So when
there's
she
a
would go and answer the door, when she would go and answer the door for these people coming through, they'd be like, "Oh, what's your name?" "Oh, my name's Janice."
I'm Janet.
look, Keoni, can you look
Wow.
up? You can pull it up. There was an Instagram live of. Oh, he on the phone.
Him and his mom talking. They're around the table.
Yeah, like they're on live, and it was so weird. Like she was being weird, like off. Like she was
He said
saying
one
stuff
moment.
that like.
He's on mute. I'm not
Mr.
sure.
Diddy bangs his mother. Okay. So,
No, I couldn't say the
Freudian
things that I
shit.
wanted to say out loud, so I muted. I said him, but I muted myself so the algorithm or YouTube or whatever didn't hear me.
It's freaking Freudian shit. Let's just talk about
Wait,
it.
can you pull it up, Keoni? It's a
Can
video.
you pull that out on here or no?
What video do you want me to
Dr. Sigmund Freud.
It's
Cassie
Instagram
was
live.
her
Oh my
mom.
God!
It's
Everybody talk at the same time.
Y'all should send him the link if y'all have the link.
Yeah,
If
who
y'all
has
got
the
it,
link? You got it,
go send him
Natalie?
it real quick.
I'll look real quick. Hold on.
In the meantime, like in terms of like let's say the accusations, also the accusations, the accusations, right? While I'm saying we thought the real villains out here was like Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, it was Diddy out here playing Rico Jenga,
Wow. Yes, for sure.
motherfucking Rico Jenga, and like Keoni said, the Homeland Security ain't gonna raid you for nothing. All right, this ain't Law and Order hip hop unit.
Look,
Did y'all?
to get
So
back
I'm
into the funnier part is when they said the amount of baby oil. I know.
Like, that's insane. The fuck is that?
You know you can't say baby oil.
But I forget when they were talking about like the sexual exploitation stuff, rapes, whatever. I remember something. I don't remember how many hours it was, but it was some like
It was days. It wasn't hours.
Or like
It was days. Yes.
And she was like bleeding. Like that had to be so.
Yeah, that's
painful.
crazy.
Like that had to be so painful for her, and like that is like very.
It was giving me UTI. It was giving me UTI. It was giving me all of the things that women go through as a woman. Like, and you having sex that many hours with this many different men. How did you even stay healthy still? Like, what was going on there? Like,
and they say UTIs, but she probably just didn't want to get into what else it was, because it's not just UTIs when it's like men off of Craigslist.
Oh my Jesus!
You know what I mean? Like that's not just UTIs, but like out of like. She probably just didn't want to go into all that, which I would not want to either. But like, no, that's so like upsetting. Like this,
I sent you guys
that made my stomach flip because like that.
Yeah, Joe. Did anybody listen or watch any of the testimony from Joe Rogan? Holy Jesus!
No, I don't.
No. He's that Republican dude with the podcast.
Joe Rogan. I want to know what he said.
Jesus. So wait,
pull it up. Pull it up.
Pull it up.
Joe Rogan has so many stories in his phone from so many different people over the years. Sorry, I mean that wanted to remain anonymous. That all the stories told over years from so many different people are almost so identical. There are stories he has that are 4 or 5 years apart, and they're the same exact damn story from 20 different people who haven't even met each other. It's insane.
That's how you really know, like, the shit's going down.
I don't like him, so I guess I'm.
I just sent you. Oh, sorry. I just sent you the link to that live with his mom.
Collectively,
where did you send it to me, Natalie?
Your number.
It's a TikTok. Mike's like, I don't even like him, so I don't even care.
So I ain't fucking with that motherfucker.
You don't like
I'm gonna look at it now.
You don't like who, Mike?
I don't even know him. I don't even know him. Now, maybe if I see
isn't he that like Republican kind of guy?
Well, it's not about that. I kind of don't like him either. But the one thing you cannot deny about Joe Rogan, whether you like him or not, is he helped a lot of damn people. He helped a lot of in the streaming world and podcast world and all of that. The way to get big is having bigger podcasters put you on, and a lot of podcasters don't want to do that. He put a lot of people that were in not good situations on his show that changed the way they are, no matter what they look like, genders, colors, different sexualities. He may have his stupid thoughts when it comes to COVID, his stupid thoughts when it comes to Trump and all those things, but you cannot deny that he has helped a whole slew of people.
They gonna say this, and they can say the same thing about Diddy.
Yeah. Honestly, he did a disservice pushing a bunch of people for a dictator.
About Diddy because it's different when you do it without an ulterior motive. That's the difference. When you do it without, I don't have to like you to acknowledge if you do something good.
Mike's like he's thinking so hard.
I'm with you, Mike.
I mean, I don't like him because of the political aspect that he leads, but if y'all saying all that, I'm gonna have to look it up.
I literally just said that. I don't like that.
Got a lot of people hurt too, so it cancels out.
Jesus Christ. Okay, Sydney, you win. Moving on.
I gotta do my research.
God, I'm glad you don't know my life, Sydney. I'd be fucking in the dirt.
I'll say it again.
Good night.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Moving on. All right. Anywho, Mike, what were you about to say?
He was locking this house.
Where I could just click on it. You sent it to me on my phone.
Nah, you gotta send through the emails. What are we doing?
What are you doing?
Mike, you do
looking
look like you
awful.
go investigating over there. What you got going on?
Mike was at one point. Somebody was saying something. Mike was looking like this.
Natalie, did you write the link on a piece of paper and put it in the fucking mail? What's going on?
I sent it to your number.
No,
Lies.
I did.
put it in Slack.
I sent that on the thing. If you guys look at the private chat on our thing on here, I have it.
I see it.
Oh, okay, you got it in the private chat. All right. Wait, in the group one or?
Oh, I can drop in the group too.
Oh yeah, because I don't see. Oh, there he is. All right. So let's see what this is. Good night.
I think this is the one. I can watch it. This is one of them. This isn't the one that spills all the
Is
tea.
it the one where they're outside?
And
This is
yeah, you could just see how creepy their relationship.
Oh, they kissed on the lips in this one, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple videos of them kissing. One's more passionate. That's not this one. I don't want to see
That girl said. Sydney said, "Don't do nothing bad in your life. It cancels out everything else."
He had no way of
That's
surviving.
not what I said. I was just saying
none of the
that
bad
you're
shit.
giving him props for giving people, helping people, but he also has hurt a lot of people and helped.
All I heard was I don't like him from everybody. So I guess.
I always measure people's intent. You know, I have people with an idea or a thought, and it wasn't my intent, but it didn't come out right, and it hurt people. So I just, there's both sides to people. Everybody's not just evil or dumb, or well, there are people who are just fucking evil. We got one leading the country.
Oh yeah. Lo, did you cut your hair?
I did.
I like it. I'm like, last time I seen him, he had locks. Wait a minute.
I'm growing it back.
Oh yeah, you did.
Wow.
It's been a
I like it.
Did everybody see when Dave Chappelle said, "I didn't get invited to any of the Diddy parties"? And I'm giving you the short version. He goes, and it made me think, am I ugly?
Nah, he was like, it's because he got snitch. He got snitch aura about him.
He definitely had the snitch aura. Like he tell him.
Yeah, dead ass.
That told too.
There's a whole comedy
Like
section
2
about it.
years ago or a year ago.
I don't know what you said because like three of you said something at the same time.
Are we like lagging?
No, we're not lagging. You were just all talking at the same time.
I'm not hearing people. Maybe it's me lagging then.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Let's see what this is the fuss
Look at
about.
that wig. Oh my.
Everything's good, baby. I'll be with you.
That's his mom.
Love you too. Mine freshly dipped though. Mom do know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing. She outside moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to the strip club. I don't care. For real. It's my dog, I want to live life. Be out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms.
Oh my God.
Like, take pew pew pew.
Now the kiss.
I can't. First of all,
Oh, he had no way of surviving.
He said we not in the house. We out shaking and moving.
And he said my
Moving
mom
and
could put her
grooving.
hands on the floor.
How do you know that, sir?
I think he was
Because they
meaning
go to
that it
the
was
strip
that
club
clean.
together.
That's what he meant by that. But the
No,
kissing,
I think he meant
that's not what he meant, and that's not what
I'm
He
sure
meant
he meant
shaking
twerking
and
it.
putting her
to
hands.
how she reacted when he said that. That wasn't about a clean flow.
No, it was about shaking it with her hands on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It's
about
about
Dale even with her hands on the floor.
We out here shaking and moving.
Right
My
before
mama's
that-
hands on the floor. We at the strip club. She's shaking and moving. We're not in the house, sitting in the house. My mama's hands on the floor, shaking ass.
Look up videos of Diddy kissing his mom.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. No, that's nasty.
I'm pretty sure his
They
mom.
got grown, like grown.
Don't kiss me in the mouth.
I want to know where Diddy lost his virginity now.
From that one video, I can clearly tell Diddy had no way of making it in the future. He was bound to turn out like this.
Yeah, his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
What-
his mom started early with him too.
Apple
Yeah.
just started.
I can't imagine kissing my parents on the lips.
No.
Like when
Never.
you're
I
like,
can get some do it like that, or just
No.
I
Some,
I
some
don't know.
no,
I've
no,
seen
some do
people
it.
do it. They
Some
don't
do
look
No.
it.
like me.
Some
But
do
they
it, and
do
I'm not. Some have a good relationship that do it though.
No.
Like
No, go ahead, Lo. I can't
I
comment
was just
on
gonna
it.
say, I was just gonna say, I'm sure some people do, because for me, I didn't think that section was like weird. I get the connotation behind it to not like kiss your parents on the mouth, but like because your parents are freaky and you freaky, y'all grown, but like
It's
I didn't think that was bad. It was everything right after that that like went downhill for me
it
Kissing
creates
the
to where I
the
was just like,
context of that kiss.
I don't know.
yeah,
No.
Everything,
Everything
like
about
if
that
you're
was bad.
if you're like a mom that has a newborn baby, like okay, that's duh, but like that's not weird.
No.
But when you're grown like that, and then just to know all the stuff he was doing before, all the conversation after that, talking about his
that's the
mom
white
shaking
side
ass,
of her.
like
They was
I
just
well, the
chilling.
Uncle Floor went over my head, like totally over my head, because I thought he was just talking about how clean the floor. He was like, "My mom's dripped in gold." He was like, "My mom's dripped in gold, and she could touch the floor," meaning that she living a good life is what I got out of that. I didn't
Yeah,
get
it's
that
a
she
pure
just on the
mind.
floor shaking her
you
butt.
got
No,
an
I didn't get
innocent
that.
she
mind.
said
It's a pure
she
mind.
could put her palm on the floor.
Baby, yes. The
Yeah.
baby, yes. I couldn't be a teenager and get square on the. It
Play it
reminds
back.
me of that TikTok with the girl holding up her dog. And she goes, "This is how you can tell when a pet is raised in a black household." And she puts her face at the dog's face, and the dog just sits there. And she goes, "Yep." She puts the dog there. So then the TikTok immediately goes to this white guy, goes, "This is how you can tell when the dog's raised in a white household." And he puts his face in front of the dog, and the dog's like,
No, the kissing on the mouth is a no.
And okay, if y'all peeped in the video, his mom had white nails. There's a thing, I don't know if it came out before, somebody said it in
Bust
Twitter.
My
down.
nails are white. Hold on, wait a minute,
Like
wait a
nails,
minute,
nails,
wait a
No,
nails.
no, no.
minute.
Oh,
"You're right, Nana. Cindy might not know this.
Mhm.
No, okay. I've had white nails before too, okay? But
Okay.
I'm talking
All
about
right.
Diddy wanted his somebody, I don't know who it was, I don't know where it came from, but I just know this was speculated, came out in court somewhere. Diddy liked his women to have white nails only. I think he
There's a
wanted
reason for
Cassie
that.
always had white nails. His daughters have white nails, always have white nails. In the
White
video,
nails are
his
freaks.
mom had white nails. All of his women in his life, like that he's close with, have white nails. Like,
You
Hey,
fetishize his mom
So it
through
was a
other people.
fetish for him, is what you're saying. Like that was something that he liked it
yeah,
from
like,
his mom.
and like it was like almost like the Cassie.
it,
He made Cassie have white nails, and that was like his partner. And like obviously in sexual stuff too, like he liked them to have white nails. But why? If it's like situated with like sexual stuff too, like why does why do you make your daughters always have white nails? Why is your mom having
here's
white
the
nails? Like
thing.
Because I don't think
Here's
it
the
was that.
thing. Here's the thing. Because when you look online and shit, especially on TikTok, it's coinciding with like a hot girl thing. Like white nails means like you're single, unbothered, maybe toxic.
That's just like
Um,
red nails and red
it, it,
lipstick.
it gives it gives soft power. It's like a soft power flex. It's
It's
clean,
purity.
mysterious type of
Clean.
right. Very
yeah.
pure.
Yeah, and like I
Yeah.
don't like anybody can wear white nails, but in context with Diddy, like it came out that Diddy made Cassie always wear white nails for like some weird like he made the like the women that he met like engaged with to have white nails and like just associating it with that, then seeing his mom have white nails. Cassie had white nails in most of the pictures that she took, like at red carpet stuff. She always had white nails. He made her get white nails, and then to see his mom, him being sexual with his mom having white nails, and then his daughters always having white nails in pictures. Like, and it's like you wouldn't think about that, but like Diddy's fucking crazy, and all this stuff about
well,
it. Like,
he
It's
was
definitely a form of ownership.
yeah, yes,
he
yes.
wasn't sexual with his mom, and maybe I'm going too much into the kiss because they just turned around and kissed real quick. They didn't turn around, pucker up,
And-
and move
right.
together slowly. Oh wait, never mind. They did. Sorry.
But you got to think of the context behind it. They out chilling out and about, having a good
It's
time, talking,
bullseye.
and then you just turn around and and y'all just say, "Come here and give you a kiss." It's a difference.
Yeah,
You
she
coming up
told him,
there,
she said, "Give
like,
me
"Hey,
a kiss."
how you doing?" I wouldn't agree on that because I don't like, I
Yeah,
think that's
they
kind of weird. But
they
it's a
turned up
difference just
and
sitting.
slowly moved in.
It would have been
Mhm.
different if he would have kissed her on the cheek, and I would have been like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's a cool
Or
mom
like this,
kiss.
like those English people that, mwah, mwah, like on the.
No, no, well,
Yeah.
I'm saying what Mike said. Even if
Like,
we did, it wasn't like that. They pecked each other on the lips. It was the turn, pucker up, and the slow
It was a
closing.
like
Lifetime
it was
movie,
planned
looking
out
at
or
each other
something.
in the rain.
It was just to make sure that it doesn't fall into the I'm making out with my mom situation. It was just I kissed my mom.
But we don't know what happened when the camera went off.
And
Just
there
sitting
was
there.
other people, like there's been other allegations against his mom, like involving his mom. So like,
Oh yeah, mom was definitely doing some other freak shit there, but there was
You know
a
what's
room
going
saying that
Put
on.
your
like
hands on the floor.
So what do you think? So
stop.
the one correlation that I can't. What's Diddy's personal assistant's name?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, her. She talked in the trials a lot about how.
What was her name? What was her name?
I'm trying to remember. I have
No,
Diddy.
didn't she quit? Once somebody quit, I've heard about like after they
no,
started.
the person that did most of the calling. Most God dang it, I lost her name. Why am I?
What's her name was was she did she ended up being
Was
Cassie's
it
good friends with Cassie?
Keisha?
The
No,
blonde lady, was she blonde?
Yeah. Her name Capricorn Clark or something.
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
there you go.
Capricorn.
She reminds me of the lady that was.
Capricorn. Y'all don't listen.
Huh?
I said Capricorn. I said Capricorn, and no was like, no.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it. I was just
You got to enunciate. No.
I probably was too low. That probably what it was. I was probably just
That should be happening.
yeah. It's okay. Is he talking to us?
yeah. We can't hear him.
So she reminds me of Maxwell. I forgot how to pronounce the lady's first name. She was the head personal assistant for Jeffrey Epstein. What do you ladies think about these women who were like the right hand women that helped set all this stuff up and help keep everything under wraps,
Yeah.
keep everything coordinated? What do you think about them personally?
I
It's
don't
gonna sound
think
bad.
No, I want the ladies to respond to that.
You're
Respond.
asking how we feel
Right.
about the lady who was Jeffrey Epstein's personal assistant and Diddy.
Yeah,
No, those ladies in general.
they were the right hand women that help set everything up, coordinate everything, do the follow ups, make sure everybody's on the hush, coordinating, doing all that. How do you feel about them as women?
I feel like if it was something I don't know, because when I seen the interview with Capricorn, I feel like Capricorn did the right thing by leaving. Cause she did after some stuff went down
Yeah,
that she
that wasn't
wasn't
my
agreeing.
yeah,
she's done it
yeah,
for a bit.
yeah.
The
That
fact that
wasn't
she was
my
doing
question.
it,
For
the fact that
years,
she was
she was
doing
the
it, how do you
number
feel about
one.
it?
Yeah, that I'm not talking about what she did in the end because
Mhm.
she's got years and years and years
Of doing these setups.
I think that
I
coordinating
think
all
it
this.
was more of her job on the
Like
line.
8
Like I
years.
think she should have did something sooner. But how I feel about
She
like
saw
her doing it
she
and
saw
do
them
like I think
commas.
it was more of her job being on the line, and she didn't want to it was money involved there.
So this is where my problem comes because, and Sydney, you don't kill me because I've bashed men enough on all these shows. And
That
this
ain't
is where
shit.
sometimes it's not fair on the other side. When it's a man, there's no excuse. Nothing's on the line. It doesn't matter. You should have done the right thing. Now that we flip it, it's because when I was saying the money, jobs
See,
on the line and
this
all
is
that, it was like,
different.
no, you shouldn't. No.
Why would I kill you for that? I agree with that. If a man
Okay.
is wronged in the same way a woman is, then absolutely you should have justice. That's crazy. Like a victim is a victim no matter what, men
No
or women.
matter what.
I was just
I
simply saying, I think you misheard. Like, I wasn't talking about the act itself earlier. I was talking about like men have created that emotional lack for men to feel safe to come out about that. It hasn't been women who do that because we're the ones screaming for it to be a thing, for people to care and justice to happen for those who are
Well, I
victims.
feel like the women have created the environment to scream and care, but mainly when it's involving women.
I don't know because all the ones that I know, like not just I know, but when I'm a part of those groups or the people who are like fighting for, you know,
Now,
those who
we're talking about
men
culture.
are on the same playing field.
Well, now you're correct, but when we're talking about who's creating the culture, of course, I'm not 9 million years old, but I'm 46 years old, and I'm just talking about what I experienced, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I have a different perspective on who was keeping that culture up, and that's why I asked about the assistants, because it's one thing if there's a man setting up coordination for women to be violated. It's another thing when it's a woman setting up for women to be violated and keeping that. That would be the same if I was the personal assistant of somebody Caucasian and I was helping set up rings for them to treat minorities a certain way or do
Mm.
things to black
House.
people a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
makes it
have a
to me.
I have a take on this. I think with the assistant thing, I think she definitely at some point, probably earlier on, she definitely knew something was going on. She definitely knew something.
Yeah.
But I think she probably thought like, what?
What do you mean she knew something was going on and she was like setting it up?
She
She
was
was
the one
setting the
that
hell
I
up.
was there for 8 years.
I don't know how many.
do it.
Huh?
She testified to one of the reasons she left is because the feds have been on this for a long time and she got contacted.
No, I'm not done speaking though. Wait. I think she knew what was going on. I don't know if she was setting the things up, but I don't know to what extent at first. I don't she probably didn't know to what extent things because was she there when all this stuff happened? Like she wasn't in the room.
No,
She was?
I don't believe
I
she was
don't
in the
think
room.
any of them
No,
was in the room, but
That's what I'm saying though. She like
but
I
she's
don't think she
contacting these
She
sex
helped create
workers.
the NDAs. She helped contact the people after the things happened to confirm that, hey, we don't
Nothing
talk about
happened.
this. Do you have video of what happened? Please make sure you get rid of it. Is that your only copy? She knew what was
Okay,
happening.
well
she's
this
just
is
as
her role.
guilty.
Okay, this
She's
yes.
just as
This she
guilty. She's
yes,
just as
she knew.
guilty as Diddy and
She
whoever else
knew
had
she
anything to
didn't
do
she
with
didn't want to go down with him. Yes, she's guilty. I just was saying I was looking at this like I haven't known much about her, but I was thinking, okay, she's the one like setting things up, but like does she know what the context of these events are? I didn't know that she knew. I'm not
I
educated.
don't know if she knew all of them. I don't think we
I
know.
don't know either.
But,
I
but
I
mean,
think
I
once
in her
she, once she
8 years
found out,
tenure,
she
she got,
left.
She can't be as guilty as Diddy though. We can say
She's
that like
definitely
she's
not
a
as
person
guilty.
but she wasn't doing the horrible acts that Diddy was. But she
But
is
the question that they asked us was, how do we feel about assistants that were in the job? How do we feel about women assistants in the job as women? I feel like she was just as wrong as if she
absolutely.
participated in it. If she participated in it, didn't say anything.
But also
I mean, she was cleaning
back
up
to
the
what you
rooms
guys were
after the
saying
war. So
earlier. What if how are you supposed to do something if he's threatening your family or
Yeah,
he's
like, but her it was things involved, like it was threats involved, her job was involved. That's what I'm saying. Like it was things that was in jeopardy for her, probably what stopped her from not saying that it's an excuse. It's not an excuse, but a
Mhm.
lot of these things that happened, they signed those DNAs or whatever they call those
NDAs.
forms, the NDAs. They signed those forms, all of that. Like no one is right. No one is right. Everybody has their part and play in it, but everybody like you got to think about things that was put in like was threatened. They was threatened with a whole lot of things. Like even the victims was threatened with a lot of things. Like well, you're not going
Mafia
to be
lifestyle.
in fortune and fame or anything like this when you
It
can't
it
go on
comes down
stage or
it
can't
comes
do your album. They were
okay.
promised things that they weren't getting.
It
There was a
comes
lot of it.
it comes down to being selfish, man or woman. Like if you're being threatened, you're gonna care more about yourself, saving your own self, than other people. So yeah, guilty.
That answer
Family,
your
all of that.
question.
Like,
No, I just love this
you
social
didn't answer the
experiment. I
question.
just love the social experiment of what just happened. That I just love that.
So
That's
we
why I
didn't
asked
answer.
the question. I just
You a mess.
it's because what just happened is why P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein got away with what they did. We
You have to.
rationalize depending on who the person is, but when it's oh Jesus.
I mean,
No, Keone,
human
you're saying that
nature.
we're trying to take up for the women. Like
No,
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 like
no, 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 not
No,
the women. Not the women. Not no. I'm talking about
okay.
one woman. But we added all these other women and all these other victims to the one woman that I'm talking about who was responsible for aiding knowingly in all of these things. And we just came up with a bunch of hypotheticals that she hasn't even mentioned because she was complicit in doing these things that she knows is going on. You can't. There is no reason if I go to Sydney's house and hang out with her for her assistant to call me the next day and say, "Oh, did you have a good time? Remember the NDA you signed? Did you take video? Did you do this? Make sure you delete it." Blah 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 blah. There's no reason for anybody to do that. Why? Me and Sydney just hung out. Why do you feel the need to call me and do that?
Mhm.
Lock her up.
Now,
What if she
I mean, she also said verbatim.
like you guys said the victims
She
of
wait,
also
hold on,
said
hold on. I
verbatim.
got something from testimony. Go ahead.
She also
Is this
said verbatim that she was in the
okay?
hotel rooms and find baby handprints after saying it was just everywhere.
I feel like
Say that again?
It's
She
sad.
swept the hotel rooms and found baby oil and handprints everywhere, and it was just everywhere,
I mean, she wouldn't have known
verbatim.
what
So
was going
she,
down with the baby oil, but yes, she's seen
Yeah,
the
like
baby. Of course,
that
she's
was
seen the video.
after. But I
When
get
it
what you
became the
guys are
baby oil
saying. She,
bandit.
Do you not? Do you? Do you know what sweeping the hotel is?
yeah, cleaning up the evidence, so no
That's
one knows that you were there. That happened. So yes,
correct.
of course.
Yeah.
I imagine being Diddy's
Right.
assistant must have been like
in this one
being
moment,
Alfred, the Batman.
Go ahead, Mike.
in this one moment, she was only talking about the baby oil, but she was under his employ for 8 years, and 8 years she had to clean up way more than just baby oil and handprints.
She wasn't just his employee for 8 years. She was
Yeah,
his
his assistant.
employee for
Yeah,
eight.
isn't that called
Mhm.
conspiracy or something? Is
Yeah,
that called conspiracy, or am I wrong?
it's a
Like
lot
when
of
you're with someone that commits a crime and you know what's going on, isn't that called conspiracy or something?
conspiracy, aiding and abetting. I don't know the
Aiding,
exact thing. I want to get
definitely
caught up.
aiding and abetting.
I know what road you're going down, September, and you are on the right path. Yes.
Okay. I
Well,
don't know.
well,
I mean, I feel like she should have said something like if she did see anything like that, just knowing because it's women and it's happening to women or even men. Like, I don't know. I think that she's not as equally as at fault as Diddy, but she participated in it and knowingly knowing these things that's going on. Like, I think that's wrong.
of course not.
I mean,
She,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's part of
yeah,
one of the
She
RICO
also the
charges.
trial claimed that she was used with threats and other sorts of
Threatened.
intimidation, such as weapons and other things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She
and
it
mentioned
was a
that
lot of
too.
stuff
So
that was said.
that's what I'm saying is like earlier when I was
Which
mentioning
all
the
falls
other
under the
stories
enterprise
coming,
like RICO.
and everybody was like, "Well, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't this." Well, same can go for her then.
Yeah, they knew for sure.
Like,
They for sure knew. Just like Cassie did too. But she like you said, they were threatened. All of
yeah,
that stuff was
they were
going on.
just
They were
stuck, and
drugged.
it's
It
like
was
you
all
could
kind
I,
of
say,
stuff.
I,
like,
I'm sure
Cassie
the
knew what was
assistants.
happening to her. Go ahead, Lo.
I was gonna say, I'm sure the assistants all went in thinking that they were gonna be helping drop a whole album, not
Yeah,
coordinate
like
escape
they
plans.
yeah,
And so they have to coordinate an escape
yeah.
plan. And shit.
And sometimes it's
So
not even threat. Sometimes the best way to threaten people is to give them more money and
Hello,
improve
yeah.
their
yeah.
They
lifestyle.
Bill,
probably did that too. Ain't no telling.
Bill,
You
you
know
want
they
these
got more
albums?
money
I
The
mean,
second
for
to that life.
sure.
but his amount of threats that Diddy gave everybody else, we have to believe he gave them to her too. Like,
That was his assistant.
yeah, she probably got a huge end of it, like of the threat. So
I
I'm sure
believe she did.
I'm not giving her excuse. I think everybody deserves a sentence for what they took part in, but she's not nearly as guilty as Diddy is. She didn't do
No,
anything.
no.
No,
Most likely
no one's saying that.
forced her
I
to
like how
do everything she did.
we keep bringing that up. Yeah, no,
In
no.
any RICO case, you just
Well,
have
we've
a cleanup.
time, so I had to.
Well, no. With the Rico in general, you need to have like a pattern of the crime he's committing and him using his company funds uh
Guilty
to
when
use
he won't come.
right to run it all. So
Hmm.
But what do you guys
I
think
think
of
he's
this
been.
as like being like a housekeeper? So say for instance you are a housekeeper at a hotel and you didn't know what happened in that room. You just got to go in there and clean it up. And you found all those things, and now you got a story to tell. Like I went in
You
there and I
wouldn't have.
seen baby oil everywhere, and it was just stuff everywhere. Like then what? Then what? What if that was
Remember,
the situation?
don't ask me in low on this side of the fence that question because I've had some wild nights in a hotel. I don't want to know what the maid thought when she came in there in the morning. I don't want to think about it.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
She
trying to
wouldn't
give
have
her
been
the
the
benefit of
chance.
the doubt of that one. Like, okay,
If
maybe
it's
it was
on
a
that,
situation like
We,
Well,
we
here's
cannot
if it's on
give
a
her the
scale
benefit
like
of the
that,
doubt. We
Rest, and I
cannot
want to
give
see
her the
Jay Z
benefit
and
of
everybody else.
that.
here's
That's all.
the sad part of the question you just asked. The hotels and places that these people are staying at with the celebrityism and the people who have that type of money, those maids have seen everything. We just talking about P. Diddy. They've seen everything.
hmm
Do you know?
they seen Hugh Hefner.
They're probably
They
numb
seen,
to it already.
Well, I saw a
Definitely
thing
have
where
people
the
seen that.
hotels that he would stay in, he would put it under like a fake name, and it wouldn't be like super super nice, like you know what I mean, like super super nice hotels to make it less suspicious. Like
Well, I mean, but
the
most of the
name was
I
Frank
think
Black.
were big fancy hotels. They still use a different name. That's just for the public. The people in the hotel knew who they were, but it's
Mhm.
mainly for the public. But yes, he has done some things. But like the hotel he chased her around in wasn't a flea bag motel.
It definitely wasn't.
You know.
And then what about this underground house that they had?
the tunnels,
Underground
yes, I was thinking about
tunnels.
that earlier. The
Yeah, like
tunnels,
didn't they do
Girl, they got
most of
those
that
everywhere.
there?
what?
They didn't do most of that. They didn't have most of their events. Look, their freak offs. They didn't have most of their freak offs
Well,
there in the Underground Railroad.
when
I mean,
you
the Underground.
The Underground Railroad.
oh my god.
What?
In the underground, tunnels.
He did his Harry
Wasn't
Timmons.
it like a whole house or something down there or something like?
I was laughing because when you, Sydney, and Natalie get going at the same time, it's like that stereotypical Family Guy cutaway when it showed women talking. And it was a bunch of chickens going.
Hey, I've been pretty quiet tonight.
True, for the most part.
Man.
Oh,
man.
man. All right. I know
I'm
we
calling
can.
y'all chickens. That's crazy.
You've been
No,
talking.
No, that's just all right, man.
You hear roasting their asses. That's
listen,
crazy. You're supposed to be roasting Diddy.
she got the white nails. So
Not so much.
If only that prison was real.
why does Mike have like this
Lock him
ceremonial?
up.
Why does Mike have a ceremonial get up on today?
Who,
He's
me?
a soul.
Yeah,
He's going to
What you
put
got
on that scene.
I wanted to be cozy, damn it.
This is a soul.
Oh, it
Is
was
it?
like you were the Prince of Zamunda for a second.
I thought it was like a religious thing.
Uh,
It's
Yeah, I
cold.
wanted to be
I'm
cozy.
Muslim.
It got little like fleece in it. It's
you know,
light.
I don't want to
Light.
blame worship, but we focus a lot on the women as which we should, but the amount of men that things have happened, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It
Mhm.
had to be things that happened to women for it to come out because if it was solely just the things that happened to men, we still wouldn't be hearing about it.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, but Terry Crews one. Did you guys see that? That really
Yeah, I saw that, and that's my
Terry Crews? I didn't see that.
explanation to people. When you have somebody of that size, what is he supposed to say? Hey, this 5'4" woman, you know, tried
They're
to
gonna be like,
assault.
you really let her
Who
get
knows? A predator is a predator and can prey on anyone.
you.
Yeah,
Because you're smart, you
I
can
think
say
it's
that. But a
harder
lot of
for the
people,
men, like Keoni said. Like it's definitely harder a harder topic to talk about when it comes to men.
as
Like if the women
yeah,
didn't do it, it would definitely not be as explicit as it is now. Like, and
these
that's sad.
stupid women. That's right, I said it. These stupid women who keep doing false accusations, and it comes out, and they have to turn around and say I was lying. They need to rot in hell
Yeah,
because
I agree, but that's such a small. That's a
no. Everybody
small
throws it out and
population.
says such a small,
It's
but if you sit there and look
simple.
at these faces, it ain't freaking
I know,
small.
but I hate
That's what
saying that.
people
It's a
need to
dangerous
say.
thing to say.
No,
But
that's
it's
what
such a
people.
small group of women,
No, because it's
and the most women don't get
no,
justice
I'm not
for it.
doing that. because
They
that's
need
what
to.
people used to do with police brutality. It's just a small amount of people being police. No, it's
No,
not
that
a small
doesn't take
amount.
away from the lack of men getting justice for what
We're not
happened to them.
talking about.
It's a
This is the
separate
problem
This
I
is an
have.
equal
Every
thing, you
time we talk
guys.
about men or false accusations, we go back to the other thing. No, compartmentalize it. No,
Not when
now,
you say a
there's
statement like that.
two reasons why this stupid shit is happening now. Believe all women is because we didn't believe them for so goddamn long. Now there's an overcorrection. And that's not
Mm.
the women's fault, but there's a fucking overcorrection because we didn't believe any of them. So now we have to believe all of them. So now that there are a lot of people, I've been
You know
watching
someone's telling a
who
lie when they're telling the truth.
ruined from false accusations. And the false accusations do two things. Number one, it's ruining somebody's life. And number two, it's fucking up the validity of people who are actually assaulted and shit happens to.
Yeah.
That's why it pisses me off.
You blame that on us?
And it should, but
I didn't blame it on you. I just said, sweetie, it's because we didn't believe the
I'm just
woman.
making sure.
you go,
Why are you trying to make my baby stop? That's Sydney's job.
I don't feel like
You said us fucking women. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm like,
it's the word. It's the
Well,
verbiage
no,
of how you say certain things that are
he
coming
said
off.
he said these stupid women. So the women who are out here being
that's
stupid.
even worse, Lo.
I know, but
Not no,
that's
but
the thing.
y'all.
Those statements get dangerous. Like
No, they're not dangerous. I didn't sugarcoat it. These stupid women, and I repeat, these stupid women who do false accusations. If you don't
If,
know,
if if
if
y'all ain't
women
the
out there
stupid
don't
women being
understand
the ones
or
making the
know,
accusation, he's not talking to y'all. That's what he's saying. The
I
ones
know.
who are
I'm
being
not
I know
saying
that for sure. I know that for
not what
sure.
we're saying he is. She,
because they were being stupid.
I'm aware of that.
yes, Sydney's
I'll
aware.
co-sign.
Right, Sydney, like I'm aware. I know
I'm just saying
that.
he's trying to prove a whole point off of a small group that can get dangerous because there's
Oh,
a lot of women who don't get
Yeah,
justice
it's very
for
little
what
compared to the
happened to
ones
them.
that
So I
actually
don't like
want
to
to
say
say
or
it.
make the claim of the very few women that make false accusations because
doing that.
ultimately men hurt in this
Fair, yes.
where they don't get justice,
Doing
right?
that.
And they're afraid to speak up. But like
Why do you
ultimately
keep
there's
doing that?
so many women who still don't get justice for what
Why do
happened.
you keep doing that?
What?
I literally, this is the
Because
problem.
you want to acknowledge that what you said come off
Literally just said that
That's what I'm saying.
these stupid women who make false accusations hurt
Is
the
Natalie
validity
playing the
of
smallest
women
violin?
that this actually
I
happened, that this
She
actually
said,
happens
"Keep
to.
pocket,
And the
pocket."
reason why we have an overcorrection is because we didn't believe women for so long. Doesn't need a caveat of, well, it's such a small group. No, it's not a small group, number one,
just like a
because of the
caveat.
short time. It's too, ask the people whose lives are ruined if it's a small group, if a small group matters. That's number one. Number two, I've already validated what you just said. These women are fucking it up for people who need to be believed, and we have a culture of overcorrection. But the overcorrection is because we didn't believe any woman when they did this,
Yeah.
and
That
it's
sounds
not a small amount. And I'm not justifying and saying, well, it doesn't matter because so many women get violated. We get that too. It's almost the argument of over here, single mom, single mom, single mom, single mom, single mom. What about single dad? Well, it's a small amount. No, if you keep looking at statistics, it's a shit ton of single dads out there. But we go, it's a small amount.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've never said that, but to a single
You
dad.
not a lot of single. It's more single moms than it
Single
is single.
parent is a single parent. That's like
who cares if it's more singles mom and singles dad? The fact is that they exist and
where you
people
get
act like they don't. That's the problem with the sexual harassment thing. There's more women being sexually harassed, yes. But when we go, but it's such a small amount of men and a small amount of small accusations,
there's a small amount of men.
people who are affected by false accusations and the men who are sexually assaulted, they go, see, this is why I don't fucking say shit. It's such a small minority. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, but men not speaking up. Like, why is that?
What?
Besides, why is
What?
it that men don't speak up when they are?
Because they're not being believed or they afraid. Like
They're
I'm
not
thinking
being
men,
believed.
they
Because
don't
of
have
the
that.
They're,
society and the
Like
norm
they make me
The
of
disappointed.
speaking up on that topic.
society and the
they're
norm.
mocked. Yeah, they're mocked by men and women alike. It's not just men. They're mocked by men and women alike. They're not taken seriously. The first thing they do is they look at you and look at her And they go, huh?
Nah, because if a man told me that if I hear of a man being assaulted, oh, I'm not gonna ignore that. Like that's like just like, oh no, you're not. Like I'm not gonna not believe him because one, you
But
spoke up and you told me that. Like it
that's the
takes a lot
thing.
for a man to even
I
speak up
think
and say
most women
something.
would believe a
The
man.
I'm gonna
the
believe
men
you. I'm not
the
gonna say
men
you not.
the men aren't going to women with the information in the first place. They're usually talking with about
And
their
that's
men
all.
or
That's
with
all.
men.
That's
That
all
proves
she's
my
saying.
point. You guys
That's
brought
all
up
she's
the point I
saying.
was
That's all
making.
she's saying. She's saying that. She's saying
Thank you.
it's not that they are not being believed. It's that they're not saying it. They're not speaking up, saying these things. So how will we know?
Well, I just
How will we
literally,
know
I
if they
I
knew? I mean,
literally,
if
kind of
that
hard
happened,
sometimes for
I'll
people
speak
I
to
up.
say that.
literally said when they speak up, what happens? And then I get told they're not speaking up.
No,
I,
Keanu, I just think sometimes you get so caught up on making your point, you don't listen to ours.
no,
Sometimes.
I heard. It's just it gets invalidated so quick that I'm
I
like,
don't.
what's the point of me even saying the point?
Wait, I've been quiet. I've been quiet. I've been listening to both sides, and I think both sides are valid. And I don't think anybody is trying to invalidate Keoni's experience. Like I don't think that's what they're trying to do.
Mm-mm.
But if it's making you feel that way, they're not.
But I
But
would
I
say
also
your
see how you would.
experience can be stats. But
Well, it's that when I'm talking, I'm not talking about things that I would do or react. September is saying if I heard a man today, yeah, that's September.
So you
All
said
women
it's a
don't
small
react.
percentage.
All women don't react like September and Sydney and Natalie. That's the point. All men don't react like me or Lo or Mike. I am just putting out the fact that we have to. The reason why women won't believe is because it was minimized. And now we're kind of doing the same. When you minimize the issue, that's when the victim says, what's the damn point?
Can I
We,
ask a
because we
question
talk about
when
the
you're
side,
done?
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. But so the point that I mean I get what you're saying 100%. But what I'm trying to say is, well, when it comes to men like not speaking up about it, like what makes you guys not want to speak up to a woman? Like who do you speak up
I
to? Do you just speak this up to your
literally
friends or me other men? Or what made you think that you couldn't say that to a woman? Like
just,
what
I,
stops it from coming to a woman to make it
I
in that
keep
sense?
saying why. Because there have been women that treat it the same way as men. Just because you don't doesn't mean others don't. Where they
Okay.
look at them basically like, get the fuck out of my face. What are you complaining? Like, or they
I think
do
that
this,
is so
or they
mean.
do
I think
this,
that is so
or
like
they do this, or they do this. You know how many women this has happened to? We use the bigger issue to mitigate what this person's talking about. Look, Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. We're not saying all lives don't matter. We're just saying that Black Lives Matter too.
Mhm.
Men get assaulted. Well, women have been getting assaulted. I get it. That's one reason why they don't say anything. Because that's what they're met with by certain people, women and men alike.
so you saying it's majority women that they don't that are this way that don't listen?
No, that's not what I
Are you
said.
saying that? I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Like I'm trying to understand why you're saying that women are the ones that don't listen to the men when they
I've
come
never
up
said
and they
that.
say stuff like that. Like
That's not what I said.
that's what I'm trying to
That's not what I
understand.
said.
I'm trying to
That's not what I
understand
said. That's not what I said.
that. Okay.
You asked me why men don't speak up. And I'm
Yes.
answering whether it's to a man or a woman, it's because they're not taken seriously when they do. Men, for a different reason, with men, they may be mocked, bullied. Um,
Lose out on getting with
yeah,
the woman they were
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get. Yeah.
manhood. And with women, it's something totally different. When a man comes to a woman about those vulnerabilities and it's shooed away, it's a different kind of hurt.
Hmm.
It's a different kind of hurt. I told you it happened to me twice. I'm not just making it up, and I'm not using my personal experience to blame a blank canvas. I've literally said 7,000 times today the bigger issue is women getting assaulted. My thing where I went off is when I started talking about the men and it was minimized. That was where I had the disconnect. But you're asking me why wouldn't they come to women? They do, and women take them seriously. You're better off going to a woman about this issue than a man. But I'm saying it's not clear cut 100% across the board. When you go to a woman, they just care and say, "Hey, let's
Yeah.
get you help." That ain't
Yeah.
always.
Like
I
that's the thing.
apologize for y'all if y'all experiencing stuff like that or have experienced like
And
that's something that's sad. I apologize for the women who didn't listen to you because that's beyond crazy. For if a man comes to me and tells me something like that, like I'm going to instantly like feel some way about that. Like, oh no, that because I don't know, I got sons and I got brothers, and if they were to ever come to me in that type of situation, that's crazy. But I get what you're
I
saying.
have
That's
full
me.
transcript.
That's because you
That's
have
me.
this thing called humanity and empathy. I said in the
Yeah.
beginning of the show, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's who you are as a damn person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and society as a whole, men and women, anybody, whoever you
Yeah.
are, has built. It's always been like systematic, where men are supposed to suppress their emotions. That's just how
Yeah.
everything evolved, you know. And so when a
They
man is
push it to the
vulnerable,
side,
going
move
back to
on
where Taylor
past
said it
it.
hurts when, like, especially you go to a woman about something and they blow you off.
Yeah. Like that's
Look
crazy.
at all the women that say, "I want a sensitive man that's in tune with their feelings," and as soon as you be sensitive, like, get your sensitive ass out of here.
Nah, it depends. Like I don't know. I don't
My best
operate
friend's in
like
a
that. Like
situation
I
like
feel
that.
like everybody should be able to be vulnerable in their feelings and in their emotions, no matter who you are, no matter if you're a man or a woman, no matter what,
But
because
I'm
you're
Like,
human.
yeah,
Yeah,
in the
you're right.
military.
But I'm always talking about how. See, you guys are different. That's why you're on the goddamn show and we're picked. So when
That's
I'm
why y'all
talking,
here.
yeah, your opinions, everybody's opinions on here are valid. When I'm usually speaking about the general public. I'm usually speaking about what
Right.
I'm seeing out there and what I'm monitoring and what I'm watching. So sometimes because you wouldn't do something because you're a decent human being, we all know there's a lot of goddamn non-decent human beings out there. Those are the people that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it sucks that you have to deal with them if you ever had to. Like, oh wow,
It's the
that's
loudest.
crazy.
We deal with them every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It-
just saying, like a insensitive person, like I don't even
Do
operate.
you
Like I
okay?
probably
Question for the men though. Do you think like over time it has become more acceptable for men to come out with stuff like this, like mental illness, like
yeah, it's been a lot of that.
what month? I know there's a men's mental health month. Apologize, I don't remember what month.
The easiest answer to
But
that is because every generation makes it easier. The reason why it's easier now is because younger people in their 20s take heed to it. Anytime you see things not being easier, anytime you see someone on TV ranting about the terribleness of change, it's always somebody north of 45 years old.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
I get
been
it.
that way throughout time.
Yeah, like they used to couldn't talk about that. They had to be tough all the time. Men had to be tough all the
Especially in
time
the
in all
military.
Yeah, that
situations.
was
Yep.
that generation. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And that's why men
It's
back in the
true.
day, you came
The
home, you had a bad
boomers
day,
and
you
Gen
work
X.
truck, you stop at the bar, have some beers, go home, and you smack your wife because she didn't make dinner on time. We didn't seen us less than a man because we stopped doing that.
Yo
No,
will cook that roast.
yeah. Instead of stopping at the bar, what do? I call my wife on the way home and I talk about it. But to some older men, you pussy.
You're a simp. Yeah.
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 That's what I
Mm.
was saying earlier. A lot of times, especially nowadays, men are creating that culture for men.
Mhm. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Men are bad. Let's
Yeah,
just
they are like a little bit more now, just like how what
I'm
Natalie
just
was saying.
saying when
Like,
it comes to
what
that,
nowadays make you guys more vulnerable to want to come up and say something now?
sometimes
even though it's
the greatest fight is against men. Like
I,
you
I
guys,
wish I wish my again, the number of men doing this is always going to be greater because this is. I just wish my personal experience was always the men that were doing this to me so I can have a different perspective so I can just canvas it because, yeah. Anyway, so that was our show today. We went over. At the end of the day, P. Diddy sucks and men are terrible. Thank you for watching.
Ain't that the motherfucking truth?
it
Hey,
is
Whoa.
yes, and
Men ain't shit.
Hey, hey, hey.
Now I got to go hear how terrible men are doubly on Thursday because we're on the Women's Format.
Listen, sorry. I people always ask this question for women. If there was no man on earth, what would we fear?
You would fear dying alone and everybody being a lesbian.
We got women.